We're live.
We're back.
We're back. We're back once again. Hello, my name is Steve Jaguar. That is,
And I'm Mike Foster.
and welcome once again to Never get tired of that.
Yeah, it's great. I just
Yeah.
love the riff.
Excellent.
That's perfect. Yeah, welcome back.
Great.
We had a little week off because we had a meetup last week. Hopefully everybody was able to attend. We had two great talks actually.
Yeah, it was the reception was, I think on paper some people go, so diversity, equity, like, well, yeah, I'll have to do it, but is it an interesting talk in a meetup? And she smashed it. Like it was amazing.
Mhm.
And then the live demo on secrets, like I've watched that 3 times now and I'm still like, what the heck? I'm learning so much.
Yeah, Taylor's the cloud advocate at HashiCorp, and to do a live demo and just hit everything pretty much right on. There's almost nothing wrong with it, right? It's pretty good.
No.
It's well done.
Yeah,
And
he has nuts of steel.
yeah, it actually prompted a conversation that I had in the background of like, it'd be kind of cool to do those. Like meetups are great, but you have sort of like a book club / conversation where you just bring people in whenever they want to talk and just give them a platform, right? I think that'd be kind of interesting because I think like a lot of those, if we're being honest, a lot of those DEI talks tend to happen at conferences where it's like you need a panel and you have to have the certain amount of people that come in and everybody kind of says very high level stuff, right? I think it'd be cool if you just, it's like, hey, you're on Twitch, and you know, me or you, whoever has time, we come in and we say, hey, like, come ask questions, deep dive, right? Like no filter, so to speak. I think those are the conversations worth happening. So
speaking of no filter,
the thoughts expressed on the show belong to the presenters only and not any employer or sponsor.
yeah. I mean, it's not like it's nothing crazy, but we gotta say it. So
yeah, exactly.
the way it is.
All right. Do we want to do anything we wanted to do before we kick off with the subject matter for the show?
Yeah, just, you know, if you're following on Twitch, subscribe, follow. We host actually a bunch of different shows too. Like we're hosting Adrian Goins, we host Red Hat, we host a CNCF. If you have other Twitch channels you like and you think we should host, ping us. Let us know. We're actually kind of want to create just a channel that has a little bit for everything. So appreciate that. And you'll find these videos on YouTube as well in the future. So YouTube channel doesn't really get a lot of love. I got to spend some time on it, but look forward to that. That's all I got for housekeeping, Steve.
Okay, that's awesome. Shall we just slam straight into our first subject, which is in the title?
Yeah.
The help shape the attack framework, MITRE ATT&CK framework for containers. I haven't even read the article yet because for me, it was like the middle of the night when it came out. So have you taken a look at it yet? Or are you maybe even involved in it?
So I did a CNCF sponsored talk at KubeCon last year about this. Microsoft first kind of adapted the MITRE framework for Kubernetes, because originally it was just kind of all encompassing. It was massive. There was 120, different call outs based off of these graphs in the original MITRE framework that came out, I believe, in 2013. So yeah, Microsoft adapted it. And then now it's kind of a continued effort to say, what is the community seeing? How are they seeing some of the different vectors? And so they're looking to update it. And if you've experienced something, they would love your feedback. I know that our CSO also did a whole write-up last year about it. Just all the different, exactly vectors of attack. So it was, it's cool to see it kind of continue to get maintained. And I think it's a really good resource if you're looking to get started, or if, looking to actually like basically build this thing, because knowing the one that came out in 2013, I think has 120 different tabs. Now you're looking at, there's 30, I think, in total right now. So I'm sure this thing will grow as Kubernetes grows, right?
Yeah, definitely. And what's great about it is mapping events and security events in Kubernetes back to the MITRE ATT&CK framework, like the actual MITRE ATT&CK framework. It speaks the language that security professionals and CISOs, they understand when you do that. And having one that's tailored like this is awesome. And I should get more involved in it.
Yeah. And management loves checklists. And if we're being honest, they're pretty useful. It's like, hey, let's build a system. Oh, here's a nice checklist that the community builds that they see as the general threats. It's a good place to make sure you're doing your job too, right?
It is a good, yes, it is a good place to make sure you're doing it. People love framework. Not every cloud native in Kubernetes is like changey enough, like in terms of being at the edge of where the technology is at the moment. So having frameworks that help people advance as soon as possible and understand and codify security like this is brilliant. Awesome. Let me just kill that and hide that. What do we want to do next on our big list? We have a good list today. The touchy-feely piece?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I like that you put that up there. You can take the lead on this one.
All right. So let's throw it up on the screen. I got sent this. I'm going to credit actually Michael Mann at DevSecOps London because he pinged me this tweet and said, check this out. Because it's Mitchell Hashimoto, who the HashiCorp founder, talked about his experience of being offered. I think it's probably pretty small on the screen, but 2013, him and his partner offered $50 million for HashiCorp. And rather than just go woohoo, which I would probably do, he realized he hadn't done what he wanted to do. Like it was pre-Terraform, it was pre-Vault. It was like he had this dream he needed to fulfill, and not all things work past a certain number of years. Statistically, startups don't make it past the second or third year, and yet he made the dream a reality. And it's a really great 10-part tweet that could have been a blog article. Like, it makes me wonder when people do this, are they really just sitting there and it just gets out of hand and then they go, I got to do a 2 and then I got to do a 3. But it's a really great feel-good story about a founder who wanted to make a dream happen, and explaining on Twitter is just really transparent. I love it. What he doesn't mention is that if you Google HashiCorp's value now, it's like $5 billion. He did quite well.
Yeah, it's
and I like that he didn't call that out.
Yeah. There is survivorship bias, obviously, because had he sold it, doesn't mean the idea would not have stuck, right? So, but I think also the fact that you get to retain it and carry it out to its initial vision, right? I think a lot of the times, and I mean, you see this just in general, art, architecture, you see it in tech. Somebody has a great idea. The more people get involved, the more the idea kind of gets pulled in different ways that was not necessarily there. So I think, he kind of nailed it. Stick to the vision, push for it, fight for it, especially if you believe in it. And so far it seems to be paying off, right? I think.
And it also speaks to the fact that sometimes, and I'm being cynical here, sometimes there are startups and they're looking to create something whiz bang and sell it and get out. Like it's like almost by design. Whereas this is evidence of this person solving a problem. The money is not why this started. There was a problem they needed solving and they did it. And that's cool. That means you get good tech out of that and good organizations.
Yeah. And really the developers kind of revolved around and to HashiCorp, so to speak, in Terraform, right? Because that declarative configuration, it's important. So there was a lot of compounding factors there. As for the startups that just create it and sell, I mean, sometimes you do have to understand that some ideas will only take off with backing, with like a massive infrastructure of financial backing, or it's a very specific use case. And in that, like, those make sense, right? But it was good that they knew their product, they knew where it was in the space, they had a vision, and they've executed almost flawlessly, maybe not flawlessly, but very well up at this point, right?
Yeah. Big HashiCorp fan.
Yeah, and they're really transparent too, which is what I like about them, right? I mean, development background, you start at 21, 23. They're very young and very open with the community, right?
Yeah, very good. All right, good. Feel good piece. We don't do that we need a sting for that. We don't do them often enough, so maybe not.
Yeah, when do you ever get happy news? We should have like a little like rainbow.
Yeah, like hamster on a skateboard,
right? I need some of that. It's all dark and depressing in Canada right now, so give me some.
Yeah. I'll work on that. I'll work on that, having a piece that's actually super positive news. Well, that was a good one. Unlike this next one. The next one, I think, is another one I threw in there because somebody wrote me and sent me this and said, Steve, this looks bad. Explain it to me. And so I had to read it. You don't want to read it. It's a great article in a lot of detail. It's kind of long though. Probably does it say what how many minute read it is? No, it doesn't. Well, it's a bit of detail. I can summarize it really fast. When you're writing code in like Python or Node or whatever, right? And you have a dependency manager and you go and get your dependencies to build your app. You sit there and you do it on your computer and you get the public dependencies that everyone uses, but you can also have internal dependencies. And there's some good examples down there. He noticed this in a GitHub repo that it said OpenSSL, OpenSSH, whatever you want to do, right? Package this, JSON, and then it said Netflix special thingy. And then clearly non-public dependencies were called out. And because they know the location to go get those, all fine and dandy. What he discovered in many cases is that the package manager looks public first before it looks private. So all he did was squat his software in the public domain on PyPy, and he stuck a Netflix thingy in there just to see. And all it did was call back to his server to see if it ever ran. And it did. It ran at a lot of really important companies. And so he has basically highlighted a very interesting way that, well, if you can find requirements files from major organizations that are public, yet call out proprietary modules, you have an attack vector.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, some people I know got really freaked out by that.
There was a couple of bounties that were paid out if you read through the article. I think there was multiple $30,000 bounties paid out for this.
Yeah.
There are a couple package management softwares too that suffer from this, because everybody wants the ability to basically host their dependencies private and publicly, and there's a lot of different push and pull from customers that they create a product that kind of doesn't do both really well, right? So it's and especially like as a user, if you don't understand exactly where you're getting your dependencies from, that's going to obviously become a big issue. So it was really interesting. They did a great job with this write-up too.
Yeah, it gets into the detail you want. And we're not putting links in the chat anymore, are we?
Oh, we can. I'm building an Excel sheet that I'm going to link in the about me for all this so that people can go. Nice. It's been a hectic couple of weeks, but I'm getting there.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the other things I want to touch on with this is when you're selecting your code or like your language that you want to use, you should actually look at how it manages dependencies, right? Like Go, for example, has the ability to, you can either manage them as part of the repository or you can pull during build time, right? So it's one of those things that you need to just make sure that you're picking your language and securing those dependencies.
Michael, we all know that people pick their language based on how cool it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah. But that's, absolutely great advice. And that's the kind of thing that if there's security people watching this later, they're probably going, another thing I need to remember. Great.
Or just know that the cool people are going to do it and they're going to follow the cool language. And then you can be the bearer of bad news in the background, right? No happy news.
Yeah. No happy news. No. All right. So we go to the next segment, which is this one. I wasn't sure I was going to do the NHS one, but I'm going to do it because it's real.
Yeah, I had my whole
fish. Oh, you're getting there. You're on real. I got to get the picture up because it's. There we go. Let me share that. So this wasn't an article. This was real. So the NHS is our health service, upon which the Canadian one that Michael knows and loves is based. This is spam. Accept invite for your coronavirus vaccination. Amazing. Like pretty real, pretty convincing. Don't click it. Like it drives me nuts, but it's a very cleverly designed, almost like spear phishing email, because you get to spearfish everybody because everybody is at some point going to get a vaccination. Like how rare are opportunities like that for that kind of stuff to show up? So it's It's bonkers. Some of it's blocked out, but there were obvious indicators that it was BS. So there you go. Watch out.
And we were talking about this a couple episodes ago too, about people just exploiting. What's the word for it? It's like social engineering, right?
Yeah.
And you know,
what's kind of tragic about this
question.
one? Yeah, well, what's tragic? Normally, social engineering has to do work to find people who are like maybe elderly or old that aren't au fait with all of the methods that are being employed, and yet those are the people who are being called for vaccinations right now. Like this is from an evildoer's perspective, this is solid gold.
It's the best bang for your buck you're going to get.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, be wary. Not all invitations for vaccines are real. All right, that was a big WTF.
Yeah, you had another. There's a pretty good WTFs here today. Your Clubhouse one, I think, is spot on. It's in the news and hot. Clubhouse, the new app. I think it was sold as there were a bunch of like CEOs and stuff like that that would go on, and so it was an invite-only, exclusive membership way. You can just have conversations, no videos, like an on-the-spot podcast, right? Well, turns out it uses UDP unencrypted.
Yeah. That's crazy, right?
So delete that app, please. Do it for your sanity.
I know. I felt privileged. I was like, oh, I've been invited to Clubhouse. And then like the next day, this tweet, I'm like, I am not no longer going to go anywhere near this.
Yeah.
Just because Elon Musk said it in a tweet or something. It has, but there's like, it's a great tweet. Brian Pack, if you speak, what is he? He did it. There it is. There's the TLDR. But you have to be able to speak Korean to read the actual article where he breaks it all down, which I do not. So I like that he just broke it down, the basics right here. So very cool. We'll put the tweet in our list of things, but funny. Don't get all gung-ho on Clubhouse just yet.
I mean, if in my personal opinion, the app is not worthwhile anyways. So you ain't missing out on much, guys.
Just drove me nuts. Ending up in conversations I didn't want to be in.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Not for everybody.
Not for most people.
I don't get it. Amazing. All right.
LastPass.
Yeah.
That's a good one. We had that conversation about Elastic and sort of that freemium version, non-freemium version. And you found this one. Want to break it down?
I stole this from Adrian's show.
Oh.
Adrian did this on Coffee and Cloud Native, and I thought, all right, I can't let it go because it's so douchey. We got to mention it. Did you check it out? I mean, you know what it is? Yeah. I have to add in the new restriction. Anytime you create a free tier and the phishing, we can do that again. You reel in all your customers because the free tier is so good, and then you change the terms of the free to convert them. And I use LastPass, but I pay for it because I've got a YubiKey, right? So it doesn't change me at all. But I do think it's a bit of a dick move that when you do things like that. I'm trying to think of other examples where people have done that. I think the one Adrian mentioned was Dropbox changed their free tier once, and
Google just changed their storage for a lot of the educational content that they host. So they put like limits on it, right? And it's one thing to have a free tier. You should put a limit up front to a certain extent, but there are also, you have to kind of understand that passwords, especially a password service like this, is a little bit different from, revoking, kids under 12 putt for free at the mini putt golf course, right? Like, and we're saying that you can't do that anymore. They're a little different, everybody, and especially I use a password manager and everything is auto-generated. And if my password manager went down or something like that, if I didn't have access to it, it would be terrible. And I'd have to go and reset all of those passwords. So it's honestly kind of a racket. You're almost extorting people because you know that you're the only way that they can get access, right? Now, they didn't cut off access. They just limited it to like a single device, I believe.
Yeah, but it doesn't start. When does it start? March 16th. But it's like, and they've made a deal so you can do it. And it actually, like, devil's advocate, it's not expensive. Like, it's not crazy. The fact that you're not paying for it is like, come on, it's not an expense. But it's just the principle of doing things like that is super annoying. Like when Google first launched, like they're when they went way beyond email. Like I have domains where I have full Google services, and I don't pay a thing for them. Whereas you have to pay now per user. Is actually pretty well. It's still good value, but it's still expensive, right? But because I had domains that were pre the change, they're all grandfathered in. So I still have like 3 domains that have full Google services for free. That's how you do it. By the way, I'm never getting rid of those domains. That's free Google services, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the other thing, honestly, you should use some sort of password manager. Get off of using Apple or Chrome to save your passwords. I don't know. I find it so easy, especially like I have a Mac, I have a PC. If you have a work phone and a home phone, right? Like I set up my PC when I was doing it. I have one password that I bought for my entire family and set it up for everybody. And I was able to get everything running on the PC in like 20 minutes because it was just open up one password, boom, 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 boom. And
yeah,
I have access to everything. And
it's amazing. And you get a new laptop and it's just like, it just works.
All the passwords are different. All of them are auto-generated. I don't even know the passwords. I don't need to know them. I'm not going to screw them up by giving them to anybody, right? So
yeah,
definitely worth it.
There's one password actually also, because I know I use LastPass, but so I'm part of the evil empire there. The does it show you when you've got like accidental duplicates? Like mine gives me the security, like tells me like you're doing great, except these ones are old, or it fixes it all. It's really good.
Yeah, there's a watchtower. It's one password calls it watchtower. You can enable or disable it, and you can kind of configure it a little bit. So you can set default times. It tells you when you have duplicate passwords.
Nice.
Obviously, the biggest thing is you have to have one major password to get in, right? So make sure that one is secure.
2-factor authentication on that one.
That too. Single point of failure.
Yeah, that's why I have a YubiKey. That's for my that's my master. Cool. That's a good one. Yeah, that was a proper WTF. Are we done? The WTFs? What do we got? What do we got? I think Monkey Video Games is a bit old. Do we want to do it anyway because it's hilarious? I said it now. I have to do it. Hey, Foster, you look very still. Am I broken or are you?
I just came back. I think we're good.
Okay. You with me?
Yeah.
You like completely froze there.
All right. I'm back. I missed you.
All right. Let's pop this up. This is, I feel like I need almost like a double shot of, yeah, I Sell My Soul. There you go. This is like, what the? This face says it all. So this sounds messed up, but like Elon Musk what's his company called that does Neuralink? Is that it? Or Neuralink? Yeah. Has been working on controlling things with your mind. Like nobody should be surprised by this. It's Elon Musk. I heard somebody who was talking about this on another podcast, and they said, Elon Musk does so many whack, crazy things that we've lost sight of the fact that his name is Elon Musk. That's a messed up name. Where does that come from? Anyway.
By the way, look at that Clubhouse free promotion there. Don't use it.
There it is.
It's everywhere.
That's why.
Elon should pay us sponsorship. I mean, nobody watches, but like at least it's a couple views. And keep plugging them. But
we've said his name enough now that my Bitcoin's probably worth a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Animal Welfare checked it out. It's just hilarious that they're just experimenting with the Neuralink stuff, not on humans, on monkeys, to see if the monkeys do anything. It's a hilarious what do you want to call it? Title.
Yeah. And I'm assuming, I haven't looked into how they set this up, but they just play the game of Pong. And I'm guessing they had some sort of screen. The 2 monkeys were looking at it, and based off of what they were seeing, they were reading the inputs and kind of moving it like accordingly, right? Based off the electrical impulses. So that's my guess. Yeah.
To see if the monkeys realized they could make it move by thinking about it, and if they did realize it, then they learned, and then it works. So I think it's a fascinating test, even though I like to make fun of it.
And actually, I'm kind of assuming that they've put it in and they actually played physical Pong with like a joystick or something like that, and they were able to map the signals to figure out where. That's my guess, like where
I like that. That's a good
the
guess.
impulse were coming from, and then they basically coded it in. So it's like if this impulse goes off, like you're moving it right, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah,
But
that
I
makes
think
total sense.
we map the genome. It'd be really cool if we were able to somewhat map the brain and how things are stored. Right? There's a lot of medical use cases for something like that.
That would make us really lazy.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking like Alzheimer's or something like that. If you could like stimulate the brain or stimulate growth or send signals to get rid of that stuff and get rid of it. I don't know. Just
I
I
like
need
how
good news.
you went to a proper medical like breakthrough, and I went to playing video games with my brain.
I was going to say, and the US is probably going through to like, cyber soldiers or something like that. So there's a couple of different use cases for it and probably a bunch of different ways people are funding it. But there's
So did you add this next one?
oh yeah, I put that in there. Just as like a funny kind of.
It is funny. I'm only just looking at it. So I'm going to put it up. You can describe.
Yeah. So this has actually been a conversation in Canada too about protecting publishers, right? And I don't really have an opinion either way, but basically the Australian law, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, is they want the big tech companies to pay fees for basically republishing these links on their websites. Now, I do think to a certain extent, you shouldn't be allowed to take complete content, rip it, and put it on a site, right? But if like Facebook is publishing the link with like a short description for a click through, I don't see an issue with that. Now, Facebook just completely blocked basically all news sources coming from Australia on their platform. But one of the it's a tough line to walk, right? Because a lot of these websites are getting click-throughs, links, and ad revenue from the big tech companies, right? Like as much as Google is obviously profiting from people coming to their site, they're also redirecting to other sites, and other sites are benefiting from all the Google reviews. And like you think about how many different let's say local shops are benefiting from Google Maps. When I type in, I need to go get my hair cut, and their salon comes up, right?
Yeah.
So there's I don't really know how to actually accurately measure it to say this is how much publishing should get and this is how much they shouldn't get and vice versa. And then you have all the politics of, does the government sponsor publishing? No, that's not really free speech. Yeah. But I thought it's going to be something that's probably going to escalate in the next 3 to 5 years as the media wars heats up. And let's say the millennial and Gen Zers, I don't think are going to be consuming content in the same way as people were before.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to continue to see this back and forth shift as traditional media gets phased out. Maybe not phased out, but consumed differently.
Yeah. What's special about Australia? Like was there a legislation or something? Like I'm trying to.
They're pushing legislation to protect their publishers. And you think about it, I think one of the reasons Australia probably made the first move is because they are a smaller market. So Canada, instead of pushing legislation, they like funded the CBC to kind of say, okay, they kind of took the BBC approach of like, we're going to fund the CBC. Like you try to, publish good content without worry for advertisers. Right. Maybe, and I'm just hypothetical here, Australia is taking the other route of saying, well, we don't really want to fund our media too, because that obviously becomes political. So what we'll do is we'll tax the big corporations to fund the media, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, you know what? You just raised a really good point. And just very briefly, I'm going to pop this back up because you mentioned BBC, you mentioned CBC, right? I find it funny when I talk to, we have this when we talk to TAM sometimes, like Americans, when you go like, look at this website. This is our news website. These are not ads.
Mm-hmm.
These are actual other BBC articles. You go all the way to the bottom, no ads. Yeah. It's awesome. I can go to a news site and I just get news.
Yeah, so there's a format for that. Unfortunately, it just has to do with most of the time the government getting involved. So becomes political as soon as the government touches it, right?
Yeah, well, I can. Yeah, it's funny. Like again, we can talk about this offline, but the idea that this is part of our tax, and you get news, radio, TV, you get all sorts of stuff, and none of it has ads.
Mhm.
I think it's. When I moved here from Canada, I was like, this is awesome. Anyway,
Yeah, no, the the no ads thing is huge. I would love that.
yeah. All right, groovy. That was interesting. Where are we now?
We got a new segment.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what to do.
We did this one segment before, but we didn't have this. I like it. It's a little long, but it's good. It is good. Can I do this in reverse order than when we have it written?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because the second one's kind of technical, and this one's just straight up money. Wow, I had a big link in there for that one. Yeah, this is. Let's throw it up on the screen. Boom. Another acquisition. Cuckoo. If you don't care about business, we're sorry for these, but I just find this whole space is bonkers. Bridge Crew acquired for 156 million. Pretty cool company. But what the? It's cuckoo. I like Bridge Crew. They have got a cool open source project called Chekhov. I just talked about it in the talk before this that scans Terraform and all sorts of other cool infrastructure as code stuff. I don't run across them very often. Do you ever get any firsthand encounters with Bridge Crew?
No. It seems like this space is going to heat up, though. The reason why I like just following acquisitions is developers push product, but at the end of the day, you're pushing a product that is useful to somebody, useful to some customer, right? And watching how big companies value those products is really, it's interesting. It also actually shows some of the holes in portfolios too, right? So you look and you say, okay, where are these acquisitions going? Where are they positioning themselves? And I think that Bridge Crew is one of the first sort of policy as code type startups that just got acquired, right? So
actually, I could do this. There you go. Just so you know who they are.
Yeah.
Automate your infrastructure security from commit to cloud. That sounds really cool. What I find weird about this, because I went here after they were acquired, and the site looked super different. Like I used to see them as a services company that had some cool open source, and then I got here and like, oh, they have a product.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Neat.
Very neat.
Yeah. That's
we need to test them out sometime.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All righty, that was a good one. And then the last one before we get to tool time is Cockroach DB. Now, first question for you, Mr. Foster. What do you think about the name Cockroach Labs?
I don't know. I'm weird. I associate cockroaches as a good thing. Like I always like when people mention Excel and it's like it's the cockroach of spreadsheets. It's just survives through everything. It's always around, sort of thing. So it's like cockroach like database, cockroach labs. It just survives and is always there. It's always stable and mutates and works when you cut its head off, right? So there's I don't know. I'm weird like that, but yeah, somebody probably had a couple too many tequila shots when they made the name, but it sticks. It's catchy.
It is. And so they were given way more money now. What do they have now? So 355 million at a valuation of 2 billion. And how old are they? 200 employees. So pretty cool, right? And if I did think that, okay, somebody watching this is going to go, why do I care about Cockroach DB? And there's a really good article, which we can put in our links eventually, which was talking about top 5 uses for something like Cockroach DB. So distributed online transaction processing or insistence upon geo-partitioning of your data for regulatory compliance. That is one that is really good from a security perspective. So I thought I'll throw those up there because people are always thinking, I need my data for these people here and here. And that is a big problem for compliance and security, and Cockroach DB solves that. So that is cool. Hence why we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually found another. So CrowdStrike acquired Humio,
Yeah, I saw that too. We didn't get that in.
We didn't.
Damn.
I was going to put it in, but I can. Here, I can.
You're gonna do something on it?
I'll post the link in the chat if you want to grab it. But I found it interesting because the more I was looking into this, it makes sense. So you have people that are going after basically big database, big logging aggregators, because once you get into distributed systems and microservices, you generate so much metadata, right? And you're going to want to store the data, and you're going to want to store it for a long time in a way that can be retrieved. And why is that? Well, as machine learning gets better and better, you're going to see its applications start to morph towards looking at logs and syslogs and things like that, so that I can go back and I can look at all of the issues that I've had over the last 10 years, prioritize them based on risk, and I can somewhat feed what I want into I could do like an assisted learning machine algorithm that can say, these are the ones I want to prioritize for, go back and look through 10 years of logs and tell me where I've gone wrong, right?
Yeah.
And being able to do that at scale and do that quickly is going to become a very useful tool in the next 10 years, especially with the amount of data we're producing. So I think that's the mentality as to why these acquisitions are popping up. And just in general, with everything in systems, it's always observability. So that you generate more data, you have to actually generate actionable data. And as a business leader, I don't necessarily care about all the data. I just need to know what I need to know at that time, right?
Totally. Yeah, it's funny. I wondered if they were like, if that happened off the back of like the ridiculous Lacework funding, or even Pan and Bridge Crew, like there's some players in that space that are looking to establish a competitive platform, and those three, like with Lacework being a little bit smaller, that's going to be interesting in a year or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if there's any. Yeah, no, I gotta sit on this. I'll come back.
You can see the smoke started coming out of your ears.
Yeah, too much thinking for a Friday.
Nice. All right, that's Cockroach DB, and then the last thing, tool time. We need a
tool time.
Do you want to share this, because I want you to play with this?
I was gonna say, I think I'm the monkey here, right?
You are. Yeah, you are absolutely. I'm gonna kick myself out here and hope you go to that link and try it. So this is a observability tool called Kubevious. It was called out in one of the articles we did a few shows ago, where I was talking about observability, and it was, I know like Lens and Octant and StackRox, of course, things that they give you visibility, and then Pixie Labs was another one that we did a live demo of. And if you click the live demo, it's demo.kubevious.io. They have a live demo, and you can go play with it. Now, I already did this, whereas Foster has not. And so this, I kind of want you to give me your first experience on this.
Okay, so we got alerts, we got a timeline. Haven't selected anything. So got our summary. Decent first dashboard. I'm assuming that you can probably, alter these things. We have 3 namespaces. What namespace is this? Just no namespace?
Maybe it's default?
It's got to be, right?
No, there's already a default.
Oh, this might be a cluster. Top names. Oh, wow. I need to read. Top namespaces with issues. Okay, this needs to be bigger. Or I just need to read better, one or the other.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. So I think, this is just total namespace, but we'll look at Kube system because obviously that's pretty core to what's going on. All right. So we have a couple icons here. Spy. Radioactive. I understand what they're going for. My first thought is like, why are we redefining things all the time? Radioactive.
Make it sound cool. So you clicked it, nothing. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Okay. Nick container account. So we have our requests. Doesn't say limits. I guess you're not really going to put a limit on Calico and things like that, but what is it saying is the issue? Oh, no resource limits. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's that checks out. At least I caught that. Do I get points?
Points. Yeah.
And yeah, it's obviously privileged, right? Because it's going to need basically complete network access to the host. So yeah, like, so there's alerts there. Can we silence these?
Like
Or set a,
acknowledge.
yeah, or like set a baseline for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You let me know if you figure that out.
Because kind of like this is the behavior that I expect of a Calico node, right? And it's like if anything changes from this, like I want to know, but this is good. Well,
Yeah.
relatively for what we're trying to do. I like this little thing. Kind of reminds me of like like playing Xbox or something. You get like your mini map.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind this.
I kind of like that. It was like a little, I actually thought I've seen a lot of things that are analyzed things at scale, and that was kind of a fun navigation bit.
All right, let's look at front end. So front end we have, okay, and it actually lists all of the objects too. I like this. Yeah, so no labels, no annotations. Service account default. No alerts here, even though it's the default service account. Like that's obviously missing, right?
Yeah. I wonder if you can create your own rules. Rule editor.
There you go. Ooh. Can I copy from something? Okay, so it's using. So if I do like a if item dot service account equals default, warning, please don't do that. Sounds like a warning that I would write.
Please don't do that. It's very informative.
Yeah.
What's it? What is it? I expected it to be OPA rules, but
yeah. Does it actually give you a drop down? I thought it was going to.
It looked like there was a list of objects you were allowed to select a moment ago. I don't know if we're going too deep on it right now, but you're just gonna see if it works. You got to give it a name.
This work?
Great. See if it does anything. Does it apply?
Mark large namespace.
Like, what if? How do you know? Oh,
you have to select. You have to select.
Target. Okay, all right. So you have to add a target. Select,
and then that was it. Right, service account. Is it here? So, resource.
You want to see if you're not quite clear. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I should look at documentation while you're doing this.
Yeah.
I thought you want to select the choice of service account.
I feel like it's got to be a resource, right? Because we're saying service account. Or I could say metadata equals metadata.name.default. Yeah, interesting. It's weird that they changed some of this. Do you think this is straight from OPA?
It doesn't
Wow, I can't
look
spell default. Yeah, right. It doesn't look like it.
It's not got quite the same syntax. It doesn't get the little colon and crap. I don't want to have to learn another language.
All right. Why does it select an image, namespace, application, service account? Yeah, I don't know. This is fun though.
I can see you're a little bit addicted already.
Yeah, they got me. They got me good. Let's see this network policies. Oh, select namespace. Oh, interesting. filter by item name, cube system, child application. And then if item has children. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's a little bit more in depth. Yeah, I mean, you could take your time and go through this. You'd be able to figure it out. Yeah, you could see like affected objects because of where it's pulling from. What can you do here? It'll take you right to it. Okay. And I can change the marker editor. Interesting. Yeah, this is this is cool. Top issues, cluster role not used.
So for a tool where nobody will read the instructions, it was pretty. It doesn't seem too bad.
No, yeah. I mean, I really can't say anything. I feel like I should read the documentation before I came in, but yeah, first pass, it's interesting tool. I wonder what the alerting is like. Show properties, hide alerts.
I think why I liked it is because it had some security stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that typically is they don't do that at all. They just show you stuff. I like
no
that
context too, right?
Yeah, I like that was built in.
Yeah, no, this is an interesting take. I wish the UI was a little bit more responsive, but that could just be my Mac freaking out that we're streaming and doing all this stuff at the same time, right?
Yeah, we'll let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty neat. Oh, I'm gonna play with this over the weekend.
Yeah, it's nice, right? That's really good. So I was gonna check it out, and like I did with Pixie Labs, I'm just gonna jam it into my cluster, and it'll probably blow up because I've still got Pixie Labs in there. But we'll see if they're cross compatible. How about that?
Yeah, I wonder if like all those rules and policies, if they could create like a shared library where you could go in the community and be like, hey, I created these policies I found, or like these are the security ones, these are the everyday ones, right? Like I think that probably be their next step. I'm sure they've thought about it, and I just need to go read the docs. But yeah, like I think that would be cool. It's good fun.
So how long until that's acquired for?
Probably. If we just keep calling it cloud native, it'll get like 100 mil, right? 200 mil.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, they've already got the good name, Kube. They got Kube in front of it. If they just called it Port Kube or
Shift Cube,
Shift. Something like that. Yeah, that then nailed it. Just got to get the naming right. I wonder what the 2021 name trend will be. We'll find out, I suppose.
Oh, I think predictions. Buzzword bingo. Go. What do you got?
The buzzword. What will I think if they just said eBPF somewhere on there, whether it's involved or not, it's solid gold.
That is a solid choice.
It'll be acquired in a month.
Yeah, we got to think of some eBPF puns for the cloud native stuff.
We got to work on that.
All right.
Hey, so that's the end. That's the last thing. We did it.
We did it. Yeah, we had a little bit, actually kind of a lot of content because we missed last week due to the meetup, but we'll be back for the next 4 weeks until the next meetup on March 14th. I think it's like the first time where March and February have the same sort of schedule, right?
Oh yeah, they always do that. So that should be easy. Yeah. So we're the 14th, then yeah, we'll be back on March 14th. And at that one, I'm doing a fireside romantic chat with Michael Hasenblas about the struggles of supply chain security.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Supply chain everywhere, big issues everywhere. So
yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet. So that is the end of our show. Thank you for watching either now or in the future. That is my Twitter. That is Michael Foster's Twitter. Yeah. So follow us and do the Twitter things that you're supposed to do with a thumbs up and then tell your friends. That's a good thing.
Yeah. We'll have some more resources for you next week. I promise. I've been a little behind, but we're going to drop all of the links from the last 6 shows now. It's been 6 shows. So drop all those and we'll keep you updated. Also other resources. So like I wrote a CCAS blog, we'll drop those links in as well. And send us some good news, some good WTFs. I think it's what we're missing, Steve.
Yeah, we need We need positivity. Do we have the new email in our banner thing yet? We don't, do we? We'll have to work on that too.
Nah, but it's the title at gmail.com.
Easy
Cluster
stuff. All right.
facts?
That's right. Fire truck.
Fire truck. Cool,
All right,
cool.
amazing. All right, so we sign off.
Let's sign off. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.